What if I told you that behind some of the most famous childhood smiles in Hollywood, there are stories most people never hear? Stories that are not about fame, but about pressure. Not about success, but about control, fear, and growing up too fast in a world built for adults. Because when we watch child stars on screen, we see laughter, talent, and bright futures. But what happens when the cameras turn off? Today's story is about 15 former child stars who exposed the dark side of Hollywood. And trust me, some of these truths will make you look at fame completely differently. And before we start, if you like real stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us bring more powerful content to you. Now, let's begin. What if your childhood was not really yours? Jeanette McCurdy was loved by millions for her comedy and charm on television. But behind that fame, she later revealed a very painful reality. She spoke about growing up under extreme pressure, constant control, and emotional stress that followed her into adulthood. In her own words, she felt like her life was being decided for her, not lived by her. And when she finally spoke about it in her memoir, the world saw a side of child stardom no one expected. But she is not alone. Drake Bell, another familiar face from children's television, later shared deeply disturbing experiences from his early years in the industry. He spoke about being manipulated and hurt by someone who was supposed to guide him. For years, he stayed silent. But when he finally opened up, it revealed how easily young stars can be isolated, controlled, and ignored when powerful adults are involved. And it raises a painful question: how many stories like his are still hidden? Now let's talk about someone the world grew up with. Demi Lovato became famous as a Disney star, but behind the success, she was struggling deeply. She later revealed battles with mental health, addiction, and overwhelming pressure to stay perfect for the public. She also spoke about how early fame affected her identity and self-worth. Imagine growing up while millions of people are watching your every mistake. And that same pressure followed Miley Cyrus. As Hannah Montana, she was a global icon. But Miley later admitted something powerful: she felt trapped in a character the world refused to let her outgrow. When she tried to change her image, the reaction was intense and judgmental. She has spoken about how difficult it was to separate her real self from the image people wanted her to be. But what about growing up in silence? Selena Gomez also experienced the weight of early fame. She has openly shared her struggles with anxiety, depression, and emotional exhaustion caused by constant public attention. She once described how hard it was to grow up in front of the world while dealing with personal battles behind the scenes. Today, she speaks openly about mental health, helping others who feel the same pressure. Now let's go back to one of the biggest child stars of all time. Macaulay Culkin became a household name as a child. But later in life, he revealed how overwhelming fame really was. He spoke about difficult family situations and the pressure of working nonstop at a very young age. While the world saw a movie star, he experienced something very different: a childhood without normal boundaries. And here's something many people don't realize. Raven-Symoné grew up on television from a very young age. Later, she revealed that she faced constant body shaming and pressure to look a certain way. Even as a child, she was made aware of how the industry judged appearance. She later shared how this affected her mental health and self-image for years. Hilary Duff also opened up about similar struggles. She spoke about harsh criticism around her body and the unhealthy expectations placed on her while growing up in the spotlight. She once explained how confusing it was to be praised one moment and criticized the next. It created a cycle that affected her confidence deeply. Now imagine finding relief in something that still controls your life. Daniel Radcliffe, known worldwide for a magical film franchise, has spoken honestly about the pressures of global fame. He admitted that at a young age, he used unhealthy coping habits to deal with stress and constant attention. But what makes his story powerful is not just the struggle, it is how he worked to rebuild his life and find stability again. Then there is Drew Barrymore. Her story is one of the most talked about in Hollywood history. She grew up in an environment filled with adult exposure far too early. She later revealed struggles with behavior, substance use, and being placed into treatment as a child. But over time, she rebuilt her life and turned her pain into strength, even using her platform to help others understand child fame differently. But not every story is about one person alone. Corey Feldman, along with other child actors of his generation, has spoken for years about exploitation and abuse in Hollywood. He described a system where young actors were not protected the way they should have been. His voice has remained controversial, but it has also kept attention on a very uncomfortable truth, that fame does not always equal safety. And then there is Aaron Carter. A pop sensation from a young age, he later faced financial struggles and emotional challenges. He spoke about debt, pressure, and a lack of proper support during and after his rise to fame. His story became another reminder that early success does not always lead to a stable future. Brooke Shields also experienced extreme fame very young. She later revealed how early roles and public attention affected her understanding of identity and self-worth. She has since become a strong voice for protecting young performers and speaking openly about how damaging early exposure can be. Mara Wilson, known for beloved childhood films, chose to step away from Hollywood. Later, she wrote about how child stardom is often misunderstood. She explained that even when things look magical from the outside, many child actors struggle with pressure, expectations, and a loss of normal childhood experiences. Alison Stoner, who worked in many youth-focused productions, has also spoken about emotional stress and uncomfortable experiences in the industry. They described how constant performance pressure and lack of protection can leave long-term effects that most people never see. And when you put all these stories together, a pattern starts to appear. Different actors, different shows, different decades, but the same emotional weight, pressure, control, identity loss, and the struggle to grow up normally in an abnormal world. So here's the question that stays with you. When we celebrate child stars, do we ever stop to ask what it costs them? Because behind every famous childhood face, there is a real child trying to survive a world that was never designed for them. And maybe the real truth is this: fame does not raise children. People do. Before you go, if this story made you think differently, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us bring more deep, emotional, and real stories like this to you. And now tell us in the comments, which story stayed with you the most? And do you think Hollywood has really changed? Or is it still the same story in a different time?